Hey Gemini, how are you? Actually, Gemini Feminines, my sisters, my Gemini sisters. So I'm doing something a little bit different. I've seen some other readers do it, and I wanted to try it. And I can already see, just from the oracles that I pulled to get the energy of the reading, where this might be a good idea. Probably more time consuming, but probably a good idea. What I've decided to do is to read separately, as time allows, for the feminine and for the masculine. So this reading is actually for Gemini women, females, or if you identify as a feminine energy, then of course, you know, this reading is welcome. You're welcome to this reading too. Pardon me. This can also be a reading for men who start in their feminine energy. We all have both feminine and masculine energy. So it could apply to men who don't consider themselves feminine, but just happen to be in that energy as it pertains to this situation. So please read the description box below for a little more information about the way that I read. I read energy, not gender. That means you can show up as a king, queen, prince, princess, knight, page, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just the energy that you're in. If you're in your more feminine or masculine energy, more mature or less mature energy. What else? I'll read this as a love story. That doesn't mean that it has to be. It can be pertaining to family, friend, coworker, career, some other situation that you're involved in. So just apply it as it resonates. Energy can be fluid in general readings. So if I'm like, Gemini, why are you doing that, chick? And you're like, no, that's my person, just look the energy. So hopefully that won't happen as often doing it this way, but it still could. This will be part one of the reading. There'll be an extended reading that you can access by clicking on the link to Vimeo below. Also, if you'd like to schedule a personal reading, you can do so at my website, which is also linked below. This is thelighealing.com. I think that's everything. I'm going to try to make these videos shorter. I'm already 2 minutes into it. But let's go ahead and go. Let's get into it. You ready? So again, I'm talking to Gemini feminine energies here. So it looks like what the situation is that you met a man, met this masculine energy, and you felt like he was your other half. You felt like this was who God made for you. And when you met this person, you could not believe how you didn't think that you would ever find somebody that you loved like that. You thought that that was just fairy tale, that there was no way that you could ever meet somebody that you connected with and you felt like you won the lottery. Like, whatever the base jackpot is in Vegas, you hit it. And literally, just as quickly as it came in, that love was gone. And you were very, very passionate about it, and it just came to a quick, screeching halt, and you felt like you'd been robbed. And I think for a lot of you, it took a long time to get over this. I also think that a lot of you felt like you would never meet another person that you felt like this about again. And that anybody else would just be settling. So, that's not the case. And I know a lot of you don't want to hear this, so, chill. But that experience was a trigger for a lesson that you needed to learn. Because I suspect that what it did for a lot of you is that it probably triggered a lot of healing. Probably triggered a lot of looking at how you love yourself. Are you respecting yourself the way that you should respect yourself? Are you holding on to false narratives? Are there traumas from your past that you need to heal? That it really was just the divine wanting to heal your heart. And sometimes it takes, going within in the way that a loss like that might trigger. And it doesn't mean like, I'm going to go within and do all this work, and then that person's just going to, magically show up in my life again. Maybe they will. They might. They might not. They might not. And you really have to make peace with that. You really have to be like, okay, you know, two of the things that I've learned since I've been on my own spiritual journey is the importance of surrender and balance. That we can only control ourselves. We can only control what we decide to do. We can only control the choices that we make. And that we really do have to surrender to what other people decide to do. The choices that they make. And choose to be happy in our own situations. I think a lot of you, I think for most of you this has already happened, and if it happens, if it hasn't happened, it's going to need to happen. There's a freaking fly in here, just so you know, and I freaking hate flies. So if you see me doing that, it's because that little mother is over here. Sorry. There is a need for forgiveness here. This can be forgiveness for others. This can be asking for forgiveness from somebody. And I think most often it's the need to forgive yourself. We all make mistakes. We all have to learn. It's really what this world is kind of about. This life is really kind of about just teaching us all the time. For a lot of you, this might have been a time where you've experienced a lot of grief. And hopefully you're coming into an attitude of being grateful for this time of healing, being grateful for it. Because if you look at who you were when this started and who you are now, I know that this has transformed you. There's no way that it hasn't. And recognizing how much more elevated you are now because of the processes that you've gone through is really important. Yep. I think one of the things this has done for you, well, let me go ahead and show you the cards. I'm using angels and ancestors for the overall energy of the readings this month. Well, this cycle of readings, I suppose. And the first one we have is Heart Guardian. And it says, love and let yourself be loved. And to me, I think that this is really about, if this reading is going to resonate with you, I think that you've probably given much more love in the past to others than one, that you received back from them. And two, you haven't loved yourself the way that you need to. Because we need to do that. We really need to love ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves first. You know, my mom was a flight attendant for 40 years, and she can tell you, put your own oxygen mask on first. So the other card that you got was Elder, and it's Move Beyond Ancestral Patterns. And this card, let me back up to our little Heart Guardian. I think, too, that this is, my little Gemini sisters, this is us being much more careful with our heart. I don't think that we've been careful with it in the past. And I think that we're guarding it now more. We're realizing how precious it is, what a gift it is. And it's not going to just, you know, not just anyone gets to partake of what we're made of, what our hearts are made of. Like, sorry, you're going to have to come strong. And then this Elder card that talks about ancestral cycles. These are things, you know, some people are like, oh, our family's cursed, or, you know, this, however you want to take it. But what it really is just patterns that you learned that have cycled in your family for generations, and nobody ever is like, hey, this isn't working. We need to do something different. And let it be you. Let it be you that's like, this isn't working. This sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. This hurts. And you do something different. So we're going to go ahead and get into the tarot and find out what the situation is right now. Well, I shouldn't say right now. This can always be something that's in your past, your present, or something that will be coming in the near future. So the first thing we're going to ask is, what is Feminine Gemini's mood? What is the mood of Feminine Gemini? This can be your sun, moon, rising, 7th house, 10th house, Venus, Mercury, Mars, really any of them can resonate. Any of your personal placements can resonate. 7th house because that's your house of relationships, and 10th house because that's your reputation. So, all right, let's see. What's Gemini's mood? What's feminine Gemini's mood, please? I think, too, some of the love that you've experienced in the past has been, I don't think you've been loved the way that you want to be loved, that you, I don't know, the love that you did experience, kind of like you took what you got and you didn't say anything. Oh, okay, this is interesting. So this card is unique to this deck. We have the Unknown card, but it's in reverse. And then we have the Ten of Wands upright. Ten of Wands is a long path. It's a, actually I like this. Okay, so Ten of Wands is a long path, a journey, something that's difficult, but you're in it, you're doing it. And then we have the Unknown card, but it's in reverse. And I think, sweet sisters, that what this is that we've been on this journey. We've been on this emotional journey, and we're starting to recognize why. I like it. What is the situation for the feminine Gemini, please? Your intuition has just spiked during this time. Oh, yeah. You've learned a lot about cycles that you've repeated, things that you've continued to go back to over and over again that you didn't need to, or that you shouldn't, or that you know now you won't anymore. What is the situation for feminine Gemini, please? You know, if you are breaking patterns, you know, these ancestral patterns, these, you know, what some people call family curses, I don't think that's a cool thing to call it, but just these patterns that are repeated in your family's life, that's huge. I mean, you're doing something differently changes the course of generations. So I want you to realize, like, if you've done that, if you've been doing this work, if you've decided to do things differently than you've done in the past in a more emotionally healthy way, the gift of that just continues through time. What's the situation for Gemini, please? Come on, gems. Actually, I hate that. I hate that when people call us gems. Gemmy gems. Ugh. Come on. Ladies, we already know what situation. Let's just spill out. What is the situation for Gemini concerning this reading? Some of you, there might be grief concerning a child here or your mother. What is the situation for feminine Geminis for this reading, please? Eight of Swords upright. It's a self-imposed inability to speak or move. Not wanting to see things as they are. What is the situation for the feminine Gemini for this reading, please? So for the situation, we have not wanting to see why something came to an end, or it could be why, not wanting to see it, not wanting to recognize why something came to an end. It could be multiple cycles too. And when I say not wanting to see it, like, say you're giving too much in a relationship. You know, you're always the one, you know, I'll do it, I'll take care of it, I'll handle it, and your partner's not ever doing that. Well, pretty soon they just get into the habit of not doing anything, right? So you're not wanting to recognize, one, that you hope to create that pattern by overgiving, overdoing, over whatever. How do I want to word this? Like, can I get the obstacle, please? And it could also be not understanding, like if you've gone through cycles of relationships and you're like, why does this always happen to me? Why does this always happen? That you're not, that you hadn't been taking the time to a lot of times when things happen and we feel like the victim, like when we truly haven't done anything, from an outsider looking in would seem like it's wrong. And I'm sure we've all seen friends that are in relationships where like all she ever did was be good to him. That's all, you know, she was only ever good to him. But did she do too much? Was she respecting herself? You know, was she creating that environment where a man felt like he could take advantage of her? You know, those are the things a lot of times we don't want to see, is that we do that, and they're rooted in codependency, they're rooted in fear of abandonment, they're rooted in fear of being alone, they're rooted in fear of rejection, you know, all those types of things, but not wanting to see, even though we may seem like the victim, that we actually had a hand in what happened. And I will tell you that that is the most freeing thing that you will ever experience when you take responsibility. That no matter what the situation, that you ask yourself, what did I do? What did I do? How was I thinking? What was your thought processes? What were you doing that? What were you like? If you have a fear of somebody cheating, you know, if your dad cheated on your mom, and that was something that even if you subconsciously had that fear, you know, subconsciously had that false narrative playing that men always cheat. If your dad was a cheater, then that would be a very natural thought process for you to have. So if you have that subconsciously playing, and then every relationship you're in, you're always cheated on, that's a thought process that you need to change, that you need to improve so that you don't continue to create it. We create what we think of most, even if it's subconsciously. So the situation, I think, previously was not recognizing what was bringing things to an end in our lives. And not just in relationships, it could be in a job, you know, it could be in friendships, it could be in a lot of different aspects of life. All right, so for the obstacle, we have the Hermit that's come out so far. We're going to get another card for this. But the Hermit is Virgo energy, and it's an energy of going within. So it's odd that it's coming up as the obstacle, because I don't necessarily see the Hermit as an obstacle. I see it as a good thing. But can I get another card to go with the Hermit for the obstacle? Okay. Got Five of Swords upright. Different readers read Five of Swords, you know, different ways, and it depends on the deck that I'm using at the time. Let me think about this for a second, because this one I see a little bit differently. Let me get another card to go with this. Can we get one more card to go with the Hermit and Five of Swords? Five of Swords in some decks, what are my words? Means conflict or walking away from conflict. To me, a lot of times it means just like it's not worth the fight, I'm out. It can be fruitless battles. But in this particular deck, and I was really called to use this deck. I was going to use a different one, and I kept like, nope, we're going to use Crystal Visions. This one, if you can see, we've got this feminine, you know, with this masculine walking away in the background, and then she's got these two swords in her back. You know, and he's walking away, and she's bleeding in the snow. And to me, it's, you know, to me, it's giving me an energy of an expectation of men hurting us. And that's the obstacle, is recognize that we need to recognize that we have this belief. That some of us, not all of us, if it doesn't resonate for you, don't take it, but that some of us have this belief that men are always going to hurt us. There. You know, I have a lot of things in my past that can make me, you know, be a big old man hater. And when I started having children, I just thought I would have girls. You know, I have my sisters, and I was never raised around boys, and I just assumed I would have girls, and I had 4 boys, 4 sons. And nothing is ever by chance, because I have these 4 sons that have these beautiful, tender hearts, and they all have different gifts, and they're all sensitive, and they're all intuitive and loving and spiritual, and they all do it in their own unique ways. And it just, I look at them and I'm like, how could I ever think all men are bad when God's given me 4 amazing examples of beautiful young men? So what is the energy that Gemini needs to embrace to overcome this obstacle? What is the energy that Gemini needs to embrace to overcome this obstacle, please? Nine of Wands in reverse. Nine of Wands upright is still in the battle, but you're just like, oh shit, I'm exhausted. Like, do we have to do this again? And the energy of it in reverse is, oh, things are getting better. Recognizing that not everything is a battle, not everything is going to be hard, not every relationship is going to be the same as that last one. They're just not. They're just not. What we expect is what we're going to get. If you tell yourself, if you meet someone new and you start dating and you're like, oh, I really like him, but it probably won't work out because nothing ever works out. Or I really like him, but he'll probably end up cheating on me because everyone always cheats on me. That's what'll happen. That's what'll happen. We're Geminis. We're the magician. You know, we are master manifestors. If that's what you think will happen, that's what will happen. If you think, wow, this is a fantastic situation, I'm so excited. You know, there's so much potential here. You know, I can't wait to see where this goes. It's probably going to go somewhere great. Can we get another card to go with the Nine of Wands for the energy for Gemini to embrace concerning the situation? Six of Swords. Six of Swords is walking away from what no longer serves you. I love it. Don't you love tarot? It is so awesome. So we have the Nine of Wands in reverse and the Six of Swords upright. And this is walking away from a belief that everything will always be hard. How great is that? I love it. Look, bottom of the deck, Two of Cups. I mean, give me a break here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and end this first part of the reading here. In the extended, we are going to, I'm gonna find out, I'm gonna ask what happened. What was the situation that made that relationship, this one that's got you in your head for so long or got you hurting so bad. We're gonna find out what happened there. And then we're going to ask what the potential outcome is when you, what's the potential outcome when you leave behind this attitude that things will always be hard or things will always be a struggle. And then we're gonna get some advice for you as well. So click on the Vimeo link below, join me there. I appreciate you stopping by for your reading. See you there.